G'day, I'm Dan.
And I'm Kristy, and we call Canberra our home.
We work, we parent, contribute to our community, living the Australian suburban dream.
With 4 kids, a dog, 2 businesses, large extended family, friends scattered all over the globe, we struggle at times.
But we do it all by embracing the crazy. And this helps us laugh, smile, cry, and brings meaning to our lives.
So join us and share the journey of our modern Australian family madness and embrace the crazy. Hi guys, I'm Kristy.
And I'm Dan.
And today we're going to talk about greening our home. So this is something that we've done over a period of time, and we're going to talk about the things that we're doing in our home and why we're going to do it. And we're going to touch on some brands that we've found that work for us, and some things that we like doing around our house. So, low tox, additive free, clean eating, composting, no plastic, throwing your own food, recycling. There's a whole lot of things that are just being thrown at us at the moment from the outside world in terms of what's good for the planet. And where does it end? It's really hard to work out what's the best thing to do, what's going to work best for us. And I did a lot of research into this probably over the last 7 years. And there's so many things. You could change your entire way of doing everything. You could go off grid, you could do all these things. But in, financially and socially and all the other ways that you can be impacted, we could only choose a few to focus on because we can't do everything. We have a big family. We don't have an endless supply of money, but there's some certain things that we've chosen to do. And Dan's just, because this is kind of a passion project for me. This is something that I was really interested in. Dan's kind of come along for the ride, and he's just going to sit here nodding for most of today. But we've chosen a few things to focus on. We do a little bit of additive free eating. We do a little bit of low tox so that we don't have that toxic burden on our family. And we do a little bit of growing our own food. We compost. We've got solar. And the one Dan's most excited about is an electric vehicle. We haven't got one yet, but that's planned. And that's something that Dan's very passionate about, and he's been spending a lot of time researching, just like I did in the beginning, about ways that we could make our home more environmentally friendly and friendlier for ourselves.
I think I just want to add here, I am a big advocate for where we're going.
Oh, definitely.
And I agree that I've probably been less on the change journey, but I really think it's the right thing.
Yeah.
And I've been very supportive of everything that we're doing.
Oh, definitely.
So I really enjoy the process that we're looking at and going through, and really trying to improve our house and our way of living.
Yeah.
I think it's really important. So I'm a big advocate, but you're the one who does most of the work and knows everything. I agree. I'm just a supporter.
I don't know anything. I'm just learning from lots of other people. So in terms of how we've done it, we're not perfect. We can't be perfect at everything. Did you raise your eyebrows because you think I am perfect? But in terms of, there's so many things to check off, and we can't do everything. So we're going to be imperfect, and we do certain things, but we're imperfect with them, and we choose not to do other things. And usually it's to do with the financial implications. We were really passionate about getting solar panels on our roof. At our old place, it wasn't financially viable for us to get solar panels. We wouldn't have made our money back. The journey would have been too long, and our roof wasn't fitted for. It wasn't going to be fit for purpose. So, but in our new house, that was one of the first things we got a quote on, wasn't it, Dan? That we
Yep.
got that because that was something that we were really passionate about, and we really wanted to do it. The composting. So we compost a lot of our food. So that reduces the amount of food that we're sending to landfill. With 6 people in our home, there could be a lot of food waste, but we're very careful about using up our leftovers and composting things. I remember when we moved, I absolutely hated it because we had to stop composting because we wanted to take our compost bins, so they needed to be composted already, so we could put on the garden and we could take our bins with us. And it was frightening how full our garbage bin got. Every week we were waiting for that bin truck to come, because it's absolutely phenomenal the amount of waste that actually comes from food. So we compost or everything, we recycle whatever we can, and we grow our own food. We don't have a very large veggie patch. I wouldn't say we're not self-sufficient by any means, but having those few things in the garden, particularly herbs and seasonal vegetables, few fruits and things like that, it really helps reduce costs, but also, doing something to put back into the soil, and to help the condition of the soil, and to help, green the planet, I suppose. Do you have anything else to add here? Danny, he's just
no. I mean, I'm just thinking back to every day, probably twice a day, I go out to that compost bin and empty the bin. But it's amazing for the garden. It's it's really, really incredible.
Definitely. So I've touched on the financial implications, because having solar panels put on your roof is very expensive. Buying all these additive-free, clean eating, no packaging items can be quite expensive. And so we choose certain things, what we choose to eat and bring into our home, we're very mindful about in terms of where the end product, where the waste is going to go. And some weeks convenience wins out, doesn't it? I don't have time to go to the market, so I'm just going to do one big shop at the supermarket, and we get a whole lot of packaging that needs to be disposed of. It's not recyclable, and that's a real challenge for me. And sometimes it breaks my heart, but I know that we're doing other things really well. So I'm not trying to be perfect in every single aspect. So this is somewhere where Dan can come in, and you asked this question when we were planning. Why are we doing this? And we touched on it. We know it's the right thing to do, and we know that the planet's not going to be around forever if we keep abusing it. So we're trying to do small changes in our home and in our environment to make an impact in the world. And it might be a big impact, but I believe that if we can do something small and make small changes, then that will help. And if everybody makes small changes to their lives, it will help.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I'll add to that, because I'm probably have a bit of a different view. I think that's a really nice worldly view.
I know, isn't
and
it?
It's very, very, very beautiful.
Unicorns, right?
It is, but it more than the right thing. It actually makes sense when you're living in a house where you're producing energy that you can then use. That just makes a lot of sense. So I think these things for me are beyond it's the right thing and it's good and all those things. It's actually it's how we want to live our lives, and so it's much beyond being right or anything like that. It's actually, I guess our DNA of who we want to be and where we want to be. We want to make sure that the food that we're eating, any of the scraps or anything, can go back into the soil, regenerate, and be reused. We can reuse energy. All of these things just really make a lot of sense for our lives and who we want to be. So it's much more beyond that. The challenge is always, to Kristy's point, is around weighing up the benefit, the cost, the time, and being able to get all that right, because sometimes it does take a lot more effort or a lot more time or a lot more money to be able to do it. And so they've got to be weighed up against each other to say, in your life and in our life, is that worth it? And the great example of the solar was, it wasn't before, but it is now. So we're doing it, and we're very happy about doing that, because it's been a benefit that we've seen straight away, and we're going to continue to see.
Definitely. And the other thing that you touched on, Dan, I'm probably stealing your thunder a bit here, but we want to teach our kids and show our kids that what we're doing is normal. There's no other option. eating well, eating from our garden, composting our scraps, using our solar energy rather than pulling energy from the grid. We want to show them that this is how we live our life, and we don't harm the world. And we try and do whatever we can to be a good visitor on the planet Earth.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by the DNA. I think that's really about giving our kids this view of this is just how it is. And yes, we make an effort for it, and yes, it takes time, but it's really important. It's just what we do. It's it's just our life.
Yeah. So I think what I want to end on is talking about people that we look to, books we've read, companies that we support. And Dan probably won't have a lot to say here because this, as you said, I've taken on most of this. So in terms of composting, that was the thing that we started doing really early on, because our parents do it and we saw them doing it. And then we knew that was a good thing. So we've read books by Hannah Maloney from Good Life Permaculture. We've written I wish we'd written a book. We've read a book called The Compost Coach by Kate Flood, and all of these people are on socials as well. So, and we'll link them up in the notes below the show so that you can get this information. We've read Alex Stewart, Low Tox Life.
I love how you say we. I haven't done any of these things, but I've heard the outputs of it.
I Quit Sugar with Sarah Wilson. There's a whole lot of stuff that she does around using every part of the food rather than not having any food scrap. And then of course most people would know Craig Rucastle from the ABC and his series The War on Waste. So all of these people, and I've kind of immersed myself in all of these people and reading, and I've discovered along the way. We started probably with Who Gives a Crap toilet paper. Dan wasn't very happy about that transition, but and you know what, that they mightn't be the best company, but they provide toilet paper in paper. They wrap it individually in paper. You can recycle paper. You can compost paper. So all of these things we look at. I found Zero Co, which is a company that produces personal and cleaning products, so body wash, shampoo, conditioner, and all the cleaning products. And they have a closed loop recycling system where they send you a bottle, a forever bottle, and a pouch that you fill the bottle with, and then you send the pouches back. They wash them, they clean them, and they put products back in and send them back out to the next customer. And those plastics are made from recycled plastics that they capture from the ocean. So really, really good company. They're an Australian-based company. They do amazing things. And I really like that idea of that closed loop recycling. Go for Zero is another company that are on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. And Ellie, the founder, is amazing. I follow her on Instagram, and I purchase a lot of her products, all mostly Australian and free of any additives. And she's all about no waste as well. We use essential oils in our home so we don't have the toxic burden. I've followed Supermarket Swap, Nabs from Supermarket Swap, who was actually interestingly just on the morning show the other day. So all of these people are influencing our lives, and these are just the ones that I can think about off the top of my head. And all of these companies are doing great things. So there's plenty of options out there in terms of changing what you do, even going to the source bulk Whole Foods rather than buying plastic packets in the supermarket. There's so many things you can do, and so many things we're doing to change how we live and how we impact and our footprint on the world as well. So something I'm very passionate about, something Dan's come along on the journey, and he's was a bit resistant to some things, but it's happy. He's really supportive.
I'm on board.
And he's on board, and I think just some little changes can make a great change, and a great change in our children's lives as well, because it's becoming the normal for them rather than the outside kind of influence. So yeah, so hopefully you get something from that. Feel free to comment, because I'd love to hear if you have some great things that you use in your home that we can implement, or if you want to get some more details, we'll put some stuff in the show notes, some links to those people that I spoke about and those companies, so you can have that context. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Have a great day, everyone.
We'll see you next time. Bye.